Your reasons for listening to the show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen.
Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hopefully you guys have all enjoyed your day so far. A couple of ways you can get a hold of me. I love interaction with the supporters of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. You can email me, tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with two D's, Tuddle @gmail.com. Or you can leave me a voicemail or a text, 407-270-3044. Once again, that is 407-270-3044. I got an email in. I know that I give it out a lot. I know I don't read a lot of emails. Thing is like, you know, people just like enjoying the content. A lot of people are afraid that if they have an opposing a view or something like that, that I'm going to, like, give out their contact info. I have never once done that in the over 2 years plus of me doing the podcast and the live streams. Not once have I ever done that, and I'm not going to do it. But people think just because they have an opposing view that I'm going to get pissed off or I'm going to take it personally. No. Matter of fact, any of the people that have opposing views or the people that want to debate me on something, you're going to go straight to the front of the line, especially the people that hate me. I'm going to read your email before anybody else's. But I did get an email. Tim from St. Pete wrote me. Says, Tuddle, what do you think about Bubba videotaping of Brandon the Quad having sex with Caitlin Hatley, then showing it on their OnlyFans? Well, I don't understand why anybody would have a problem with it. I know that Brent and his wife, Caitlin, get a lot of hate, a lot of trolls. But I got to tell you, what Caitlin Hatley is doing, I mean, that is God's work. I mean, she is a saint. She is an angel. And I get it. Like, I'm not in the, the dire straits that Brandon the Quad is. But, I mean, he is kind of at a disadvantage to being able to get laid. And I know how hard it is for a guy to be able to get laid for the first time. Because I didn't have sex until I was almost 20. Working in radio really, really did help. Matter of fact, a lot of the relationships that I've had in my life was because of radio. Because it is a great icebreaker. And I used to be horrible about going up to a woman and, like, never been one of the guys that spits out lines or these corny lines and stuff. No, it doesn't get you anywhere. And I used to be afraid about embarrassing myself. And now I've gotten to the point in my life where I really don't care. And a lot of that has to do with me doing the man on the street stuff, covering the Casey Anthony trial for Bubba. Because that was some of the best work that I've ever done in radio. And it really did harden me a little bit about just not caring what people think of me. But I just don't know. Like, I don't understand why people would be having a problem with this. I mean, it's Bubba. Bubba is always wanting to be shocking. Bubba is always wanting to push the envelope. And I got to give Bubba credit. Like, do you think Brandon the Quad cares how he's going to lose his virginity for the first time or how he's going to get laid? No. Now, I have a little apprehension about, do I really think that Brandon the Quad's going to go through it? Is Brandon the Quad going to want his first time to be filmed? I'm not even sure. Look, Brandon the Quad has always been cool to me. I think he's a great kid. I don't even know why I'm calling him a kid. He's not a kid. But a lot of people think, oh, just because you haven't lost your virginity, you're still a kid. And that's not the case. Because it's kind of hard to roll around in a wheelchair, have a cobra arm, like Brandon does have. But I'm actually happy for him. And for any of you guys that want to look down on Caitlin Hatley or Brent or Bubba or Brandon the Quad, hey, go F yourself, man. Because, I mean, let's be honest. I know when I first started out with Bubba, maybe in the first 3 years, I do remember, like, they wanted to film me for Bubba Raw having sex with a sex doll. And, you know, like, I've done some pretty bad stuff, embarrassing stuff that was on film. I did the anal expansion challenge and the circle jerk challenge. I did all that, and that was all filmed. I was pretty much nude, fully nude. I was definitely fully nude for the circle jerk challenge. I mean, you could see my bare ass. I was kind of Porky Pigging it a little bit when it came to the anal expansion challenge. But none of that stuff made the light of day. But I know you trolls out there are going to be like, oh, Bubba's taking advantage of a handicapped kid. He's filming it for his OnlyFans. And just stop. Just be happy for Brandon the Quad. Be happy that he's going to lose his virginity. Because, I mean, come on. Even though Brandon is handicapped, he's still a man. He is still a man that has needs. And I think what Bubba is doing, even though they're not religious, they don't believe in God, but what Bubba's doing and what Caitlin Hatley's doing and what Brent's doing is basically some of the best charity work. And I'm not trying to say charity to, like, as a dig at Brandon, but it is kind of God's work. And this is better than any religious sect that you could ever think of, because they're giving a guy an opportunity to have something done to him that he probably wouldn't have the opportunity to do if it wasn't for the people at the BRN. So just don't worry about it. Let Bubba do Bubba. Let Brandon get done by Caitlin Hatley. And let's call it a day. Stop worrying about it. You should be happy for the guy. All right, I'm going to get right into the first news story. And this story is the complete definition of hypocrisy. I guess that they ended up filming this big gay, like, sex fest at the Acropolis in Greece. And everybody, I don't know if everybody's upset. Like, I don't know if they're upset that it was man-on-man sex or if it was just sex alone. Like, would the people of Greece, the Greeks, would they be upset if it was heterosexual sex that was being filmed at one of their ruins, which is the Acropolis? I mean, they got all types of ruins over there. I mean, their whole economy, their whole just way of life over there is in ruins. And they're making a big deal about a gay porno being shot at one of their beloved, like, tourist attractions.
A video of lurid sex scenes shot at the Acropolis in the midst of visitors has caused furor in Greece, with authorities investigating the incident. The Ministry of Culture has launched an investigation following the online release of a short film showing two men having sex at the ancient Acropolis in Athens.
The reason that I brought up hypocrisy about them having big issues because it was man-on-man, burly, hot, sweaty sex at the Acropolis. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there might have been families there with kids and stuff. But speaking of kids, hey, Greece, all you Greeks out there, did you forget about your ancestors being completely down with pedophilia? Like, you know, like Chris Hansen, everybody loved watching To Catch a Predator. Have a seat, sir. Why did you bring this whipped cream and meat lovers pizza from Little Caesars to meet an underage girl? Well, Chris, the reason why, I just wanted to make sure that she was okay. I wanted to make sure that she wasn't getting taken advantage of by some other dude. And I came over here just to protect her. Wink, wink, Mr. Chris Hansen. But yeah, I mean, your whole history of your culture, you guys, like, treated little boys like they were baseball cards and even got a little pack of bubble gum that you could chew on after you got done having sex with an adolescent. So, please, don't judge. Don't judge because it was man-on-man sex. This was man-on-man adult sex. But you guys had no problems BFing a bunch of little boys.
The 36-minute film entitled The Parthenon, a wordplay using Parthenon, meaning deflowering in Greek, was first shown at the Aristotle University at Thessaloniki in mid-December, but came to the attention of the authorities in early January. The film shows two gay men with their faces covered having sex at the Acropolis archaeological site.
Not only was the title a play on words, I bet the bottom on this hot man-on-man action during this porn video, I bet the bottom's BH was left in ruins just like the Acropolis.
While it was open to the public and full of tourists, the other participants of the film made a circle around the protagonist for cover, pretending they were taking photographs of the monument. Visitors to the archaeological site can be seen walking close by.
I wonder if one of the guys had his Greek salad tossed. Just saying, I mean, a lot of play on words. And I love Greek salad, but I don't know how much I want to toss it.
The video is accompanied by a long written statement by the makers issued on December 23rd, in which the Parthenon is characterized as being a symbol of nationalism and carrier of heteronormal messages. The Ministry of Culture has stated that what happened was without its consent.
I mean, if you don't know what the ruins of Greece are like, I mean, that would be like if two gay men banged it out in front of the Washington Monument. And the only reason I say the Washington Monument, because it is a very phallic type monument that you could pit two and two together. It's long, it's tall, it's stiff, because I think it's made out of marble. So yeah, could you imagine some bull dom top just getting after it with the Washington Monument in the background, like wearing some colonial type outfits like it's during the Revolutionary War? Yeah, that bitch would sell.
The archaeological site of the Acropolis is not suitable for any kind of activism or other activity which would cause offense and displays disrespect for the monument, was the ministry's statement. The ministry has also launched an investigation as to whether the film with the sex scenes on the Acropolis took place with the site employees, who are Ministry of Culture employees, being aware of the shooting.
Yeah, we're offended by this. We're offended by this, but I don't know if they look. If I'm just being honest, I'm not too up to date on Greek politics or retributions and stuff. You know, the dark days of the United States was slavery. Like, do they denounce the pedophilia that was going on every single day back in the day? Like, do they have any, like, monuments of Greek politicians or Greek heroes that were known for pedophilia and having sex with little boys? I mean, that would be the same thing. You know how they're removing all the Confederate soldiers here in the United States, like all the Robert E. Lee statues or anything associated with the Civil War. Do you guys have statues of some of your Greek heroes that were banging little boys? Because if so, you need to remove those. Cancel culture needs to take out all the Greek heroes that were known for banging little boys.
According to Article 10, Law 3028, 2002, any action on a monument site which may directly or indirectly cause destruction, damage, pollution, or alteration of its form is prohibited.
All right, so, the only problem I have is if they were doing this in the presence of underage Greek kids. Yeah, that's not right. But if it was a bunch of adults out there, I'm just being honest. Did they pollute that monument? No. Did they have destruction going on? No. Everything that Amy Sinha just mentioned, none of these people did. The only destruction, like I said, might have been the O-rings of the guy that was getting banged out. But that's about it. That's the only destruction. They didn't cause any, destruction of the monument. It was just the guy's rectum.
In the long statement that...
Yeah, rectum. Damn near killed him. Had to do it, sorry.
Followed the making of the controversial film with the sex scenes on the Acropolis. The makers describe it as an act of political activism. Starting with, "We did it because we like to." The makers explain that they are LGBTQ and activists who chose the Acropolis for its symbolism. Some of us are subject to physical and verbal violence for our choices and expressions of sexuality. We will live our love and sexuality as we wish, and we will defend the existence in public.
Say what you will. Like I said, the only way that I would have a really big problem with this is if it was in front of minors. And I didn't see anywhere, I don't think Amy Sinha reports that there were any kids in attendance. And I think pornography falls under the freedom of speech. I'm pretty sure that Greece, they're a democracy, and I'm sure that they have freedom of speech. It was funny here in the Orlando area when I first started at Real Radio 104.1. They were banning any touch. You could wear, the women were allowed to go topless, but they had to wear pasties and they had to wear underwear, and they could not touch the during lap dances. And they were trying to shut down a lot of those places because you got to realize Orlando has a big religious community in the Orlando area. And they were stopping all that. And you want to know how a lot of the strip clubs got away with it? I remember Daniel Dennis from A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. He went out there to report on it. But the strip clubs, because it would fall under the guidance of art, started doing classic plays. And I remember, I think it might have been Club Juana or the Diamond Club or Rachel's. I can't remember which one. It happened so long ago. I remember a lot of head injuries. I'm sure I'm going to have CTE in the future. But they ended up doing Macbeth. Every single night they would do Macbeth. Loosely Macbeth. Just so they can fall under the guidance of art, which falls under freedom of speech. And they went fully nude, I think, while doing the Macbeth play with the crotch out, uncovered, top uncovered, no pasties, because they were doing Macbeth. God bless William Shakespeare.
But also the coexistence of all sexualities that do not violate the self-disposition of our bodies. The choice of the Parthenon is not accidental. It works for many as a symbol of nationalism, commercialization, and Puritanism. Spiros Bibilas, president of the Greek Actors Association, said that the short film with the sex scenes on the Acropolis was sent to him anonymously and described it as shameful. No one can use the sacred rock of the Acropolis for so-called activist actions and revolutionary acts.
So basically what they're saying is, yeah, as long as it's not gay sex, you can't demonstrate there. Or you can demonstrate there as long as it's not gay sex. And the guy's kind of shooting himself in the foot, making the whole government look bad. Because I'm telling you, like, if it would have been a woman and a man banging it out, I don't think you'd really have any problem. Once again, even if it was a man and a woman in front of minors, yeah, that's a big no-no. I mean, just logically, it's a big no-no. I mean, is it against the law? I don't know. I think a sex act in front of a minor is wrong in any country, but the Greeks, they didn't have a problem banging boys, banging minors, and they're saying, I guess you can't demonstrate anywhere on a Greek ruin. You just can't do it.
Which are in fact both stupid and immoral. He said on a Tenor television, "You cannot do anything you want in the name of activism. In fact, I don't consider this to be activism. As a Greek, I feel ashamed." This is Amy Sinha reporting for the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Growing up, I played baseball with this one kid, but his dad was a high school teacher at DeLand High School. And I remember my mom and dad talking about this, and when I got a little bit older to understand, you know, it finally made sense. And the next story I'm about to play, I'm not saying that this is the case, but a lot of teachers have to be overcautious. Not even teachers. Here, I'll give you an example. I get uncomfortable around minors. Not like coal miners. I'm talking about minors under 18. And it's not because, like, oh, I'm afraid because, like, I'm a pedophile and da-da-da. I know that it's related to the next story, but kids lie. Kids lie. Kids have become smarter. Kids have just become just assholes that will do anything to get a teacher in trouble that they don't like. But my parents' friend, that was a teacher at DeLand High School, said that he refused to be alone with a student with nobody around. He said he would not be alone with a student unless there was another student in there or an adult or a faculty staff member. And probably a lot of people are like, oh, what? He doesn't, like, trust himself to be around minors? No, because kids lie. Kids lie. Women lie. Men lie. It's just one of the most fundamental things about being a human being. Humans lie. They lie all the time. White lies, big lies, detrimental lies. But in this next story, this teacher gets let go. He gets terminated. And when you hear the details, I mean, I read the story. I haven't like listened to the audio yet. But yeah, this guy deserved to be fired. But at the same time, I remember going through high school, having to get nude, especially whenever you played athletics, having to go get a health checkup, being able to test it. We were all scared about having to turn your head and cough to make sure you didn't have a hernia or your balls were messed up. But yeah, this is just a really weird story.
In a letter on Friday, the principal at Monsignor Clark told parents they terminated social studies teacher Aaron Thomas after allegations surfaced about his time at North Kingstown High School. 10 former student athletes, parents, and town officials have told Target 12 Thomas would ask some students to remove all their clothes to conduct so-called fat tests.
Number one, am I the only one? Why in past experiences, going through high school, playing college baseball, that all the coaches are either history teachers or social studies teachers? But also at the same time, if you're a coach or a PE teacher, I mean, aren't you there to whip these kids into shape? Childhood obesity is running rampant in our country. That's why we have so many COVID deaths, because we're just a country of fat, lazy Fs. And that's why we have so many casualties when it comes to COVID. But I've talked about this. Whenever I wrestled or had to go in and get a checkup before they would allow you to play athletics in high school, they gave you the run-through, and you had to be naked. A lot of the coaches were there. The doctors were there. When I wrestled, if you were a little bit overweight, say enough that you could take off your clothes and make weight as a wrestler in your weight class, you would have to get naked in front of all the student athletes, the coaches, the officials. That's what, bet your ass that I made sure that I was on target when it came to my weight class. Because the last thing that I wanted to do, because I've talked about this, I don't lay very nice. I know that this sounds very stereotypical or some catchphrase, but I'm a grower, not a shower. I don't lay very nice. A lot of people do lay nice, and they don't get a lot of growth or extra length when they're sexually aroused. But yeah, I didn't want to be called Pinky D or, hey, your penis looks like an acorn in a hare's bird nest. No, I did not want that at all. So bet your ass I made sure that I was on weight and I could hit my weight class where I didn't have to get naked. But this guy's a PE teacher. But it gets a little weird when you're about to hear more of the details.
While they were alone with him in his office.
All right, I'm not, accusing the victims of lying about this, but this is why, as a teacher or an adult, that you should never be alone with a bunch of kids, because these kids can throw all types of lies at you. They can. Here, I'll give you an example. The new place that we moved to is in a little bit of a bigger city. I mean, Edgewater is probably twice the size of Oak Hill, Florida. But I walked down US 1 to go to the Chick-fil-A, get my little breakfast sandwich and my coffee and my water. And then I get my walk in. I get my walk/run in. And the time that I go to Chick-fil-A and I go on my exercise cardio deal, that a lot of the kids are out waiting at the bus stop. And I almost had a panic attack the other day because I had to walk past about 3 groups of kids, maybe ranging from 3 to 5 students in those 3 groups. And I went out of my way to keep my distance because, one, if one of those little bastards said something to me sideways and was really pissed me off, yeah, I don't want to get my mugshot for fighting a middle schooler or a freshman in high school. But I also, if things got heated, because I'm not going to let some little brat talk crap to me, all I got to do is oh, Tuddle was walking by and he tried to pick us up. He wanted to have sex with us. No. That's why I'm afraid of little kids. I'm afraid of kids, and I'll admit it. It's not because I'm a pussy. It's just one of your biggest fears is going to jail. You know what's worse than your biggest fear of going to jail? Going to jail, being accused of being a pedophile, or trying to pick up a kid, and you're completely innocent. Because guess what? Prisoners, people in jail or prison, they hate women abusers, they hate animal abusers, and they really hate pedophiles. So yeah, I'll admit, kids make me nervous. I'm never going to be a parent, but guess what? I'm not going to get anywhere near a kid. I'm playing it safe.
In the letter, Principal Arthur Lisi called it a very difficult week in our closely knit community and criticized North Kingstown, writing, "We contacted North Kingstown High School, which withheld from us the allegations, investigation, suspension, and planned termination of Mr. Thomas."
And just like with anything in life, any big corporation, any government office or grouping, everybody's wanting to cover their ass. Everybody is wanting to cover their ass. Oh, we didn't know anything about these naked fat checks. And I love how they're using the word fat. They're emphasizing the word fat. And is this about this teacher possibly being a pedophile, or is it because this kid is getting fat shamed? What's worse than that? telling somebody that they're out of shape or overweight, even when it's obvious, sometimes in America here, it is worse. Like if you fat shame somebody and you're a fat shamer or you're making somebody insecure about their weight, a lot of people have got their priorities way out of proportion. And they're like, oh, fat shaming's way worse than some dude trying to have sex with an underage kid.
North Kingstown has defended its actions, providing this voicemail to Target 12, suggesting Monsignor Clark may have already hired Thomas when Lisi called for a reference.
We just ready to hire, or we hired, a teacher that was in your building for a while. His name is Aaron Thomas. And I just wanted to check in with you or with somebody, if you're not the right person, about background and just do a reference check on Aaron.
But Monsignor Clark says North Kingstown never raised any red flags. An alert was placed on Thomas's teaching certificate with the Rhode Island Department of Education this summer after North Kingstown notified the agency about the allegations. Target 12 revealed this week Monsignor Clark did not see the alert because private schools cannot access the RIDE database.
I know a lot of people probably think, oh, I'm sending my kid to a private school. Oh, it's going to be way better education because I'm having to pay for it on top of having to pay taxes to pay for all the little other snotty-nosed kids or a-holes that are going to public school. No, because most of these private schools are all Christian-based, religious-based type schools. And that is way worse. I mean, just look at any Catholic high school, private school. Yeah, I bet you're going to see a lot worse than naked fat checks going on in a lot of these Catholic private schools. Yes, it's just going to happen. It's all about the law of averages.
Lisi ended his letter with, where others failed to act, we did. Mr. Thomas was employed in North Kingstown schools for approximately 30 years. He was here for approximately 30 days. The North Kingstown School Committee is holding an unusual meeting Saturday morning. Thomas has not returned our repeated requests for comment. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, 12 News.
I've always been up front with you guys, and there's a lot of things I can do really, really well when it comes to broadcasting or just putting out content. One of the worst things, I've tried to get better at it, but I'm horrible at segues. And by segues is transferring from one topic to another, but having them relate a little bit. So it's not like giving you whiplash when I go from one story to another. But I kind of just stumbled upon of having a theme today and being able to move on from story to story. You know, we were talking about the pedophilia thing with the gay sex scene at the Greek ruin. Then moving on to the PE social studies teacher / coach doing the naked fat checks on students. And just because people will lie on you. And then moving into my next story, Kanye West. Never really, I was a fan of his early stuff, but then he just turned into all the everyday, ordinary hip-hop artists, where it was about rapping about what I have and you don't have, and flossing about just everything about how great you are. Because Kanye used to rap about just life, things that every single day normal people had to deal with, and then it just turned into it. And I think when he hooked up with Jay-Z and did that whole album, him and Jay-Z together, I think that's where he kind of turned a little bit. But I kind of got to stand up for Kanye a little bit, because I guess some fan went up to him and asked for his autograph. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, Kanye should be happy to sign autographs. Kanye should. Look, okay, there's a couple of ways I look at this. If you're in the limelight and you're putting yourself out there as an entertainer or just putting yourself out on social media, a lot of people get upset about being bullied on social media. But guess what? you decided to be on social media, and you're putting yourself out there to the public. And if somebody's going to be a dick, like I said, you did not have to be on social media. You chose to be. And there's going to be a lot of a-holes out there. When I first started radio and we started having celebrities in the studio, when I worked at the Crow, WKRO 93.1, the alternative rock station in Daytona, when I was working with Ron and Fez, we started having celebrities in, and Ron said, he gave me some advice, like, you're coming in, if you want to look like, well, he didn't say Mark, but I've been with Bubba. If you want to look like a Mark, ask for an autograph. Ask for a picture. Because it's going to make you look like a big fanboy. And the celebrities, if you ever have them again, they're not going to take you as serious as they would if you didn't ask for an autograph. I think if a celebrity is at an event, at one of his concerts, it's fair game. You can ask him for all the autographs you want to if you're able to get access to him. But if a celebrity is out in public, living everyday life, like if he's at dinner with his chick or his kids, his family, I think it is the biggest dick move. It is one of the most insensitive things you can do to go up and bother him in his everyday life for an autograph. Because Bennington told me, he's like, no, don't do it. You can if you want to, but it just makes you look like a simp. You're simping for a celebrity's autograph, and I just have never really ever done that. Now, I've taken pictures. I never have asked for one, but everybody was taking pictures, and people were like, hey, do you want to get a pic? And I would do it if they asked. Yeah, because, you don't want to offend the people. But I've never gone, hey, man, before you go, can I get a pic? Can I get you to autograph it? No, I probably have been guilty of it before. But for the most part, I just don't do it. But this fan asked Kanye West for an autograph, and now he's claiming that Kanye assaulted him. And unless it's on camera, I don't buy this for a second. And you know what? I'm behind Kanye on this whole situation.
Now, the incident happened around 3 o'clock this morning, according to our sources. Kanye West was leaving. A fan says he saw Kanye sitting in his car.
And this is another case of bad journalism. The reporter was like, Kanye West was leaving, pause, and a fan asked him for an autograph. Well, where was he leaving? You can't tell me where. You just can't say he was leaving. Where was he leaving from? Because I really do think it's important to the story, and it just seems like your whole brain was on a run-on sentence, and you just moved. This could be a case where the reporter, lost track of what she was trying to say. Kanye West was leaving. A fan went up to him.
Walked up to the window to ask him for an autograph. Words were exchanged. What those words are, well, that's all part of the police investigation. But the fan told officers that Kanye jumped out of his car, called him some, let's say, words not suitable for television.
Another thing that I hate about journalists and the TV news media, hell, even radio. The news should never be censored. This reporter should be able to come out and say, hey, this is what Kanye said what Kanye said, and you should be able to say it. Like if Kanye came out and was like, yo, you pussy-ass mother effer, why are you bothering me? I just got done getting crunked. I'm drunk as hell. I've been smoking weed. I'm not saying Kanye was drunk or smoking weed. I'm just saying the type of things they could say. And he was like, I'm going to whoop your F-word for gay ass all up and down this block. Because that does make a difference to the whole story. Because, once again, this fan could be lying straight through his teeth, and maybe Kanye was angry. But I'm telling you right now, after I got done with a long night of partying, the last thing that I want is some mark coming up and bugging me for my autograph.
And then punched him, knocking him to the ground. The artist then left. Police were called. A police report has been filed.
By the way, I do not believe for a minute that Kanye was not out with a bodyguard. These celebrities, these hip-hop artists, they're not going anywhere without a bodyguard. Now, it may happen occasionally, but that's why they hire these bodyguards. They don't want to get into physical altercations with people that are crossing the line. And if you ask for an autograph when a person is in their everyday life, I mean, it's one thing. I think it's crossing the line just asking for a picture and stuff. Because you know how many pictures that Kanye has probably on this day alone was asked to take a picture with him? Probably like 30 or 40. And I can understand why Kanye would not want to take a picture or give out an autograph. And yes, Kanye is a public figure. He puts himself out there. It goes with the territory. Now, if Kanye insulted this guy, yes, yeah, he needs to be held accountable. But at the same time, I can understand why Kanye would be mad. And I'm sure, and don't think for a second that somebody that asked for an autograph and Kanye turned him down would lie, like I said, lie against Kanye.
And the incident is being investigated. By the time officers got here, Kanye West was not here. They have not spoken to him yet. Obviously, he'll have his side of the story to tell.
By the way, it's not a good look as a person to say, oh, yeah, Kanye beat my ass. Look, Kanye's bodyguards might be able to beat your ass, but if you're admitting that Kanye just whooped the ever-living hell out of you, it makes you look like the biggest effing pussy in the world.
But he is being investigated for this battery charge. It is considered a misdemeanor, so most likely he wouldn't have even been arrested, even if he were.
Blah, 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 blah. Man, even the TMZ reporters are better than this woman. And this was from a local, like, Los Angeles TV station. And the ones that they get to do entertainment news are the worst. No, nobody takes the entertainment reporter on a local TV news station seriously at all because they're absolutely horrendous when it comes to their on-air chops. Anyways, guys, getting out of here. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Hope you guys stay safe. Make sure you go to my friend Ian Hanna, IanHannaHomes.com. If you're in the market to buy or sell a house in the Flagler, Volusia, Brevard areas, even if you know somebody that's looking to buy or sell a home, make sure they check out my good friend Ian Hanna, IanHannaHomes.com. Talk to you guys later.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, and PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show producer Vulture and co-host Sirach. Show voiceover service is brought to you by JCVoiceover.com and The Little Cheese Show. Download and subscribe to The Little Cheese Show everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. You have something you want to say? Tuddle@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all Tuddle social media, go to Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with 2Ds.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
I get ignorant in normal situations.
What you mean?
What the fuck you mean?
What are you talking about?
Nigga, what the fuck is you talking about?
Oh, shit!